Welcome to the first Agathon virtual guiding show. Unfortunately, we could not meet at Fakuma in October, so we decided to present our latest technologies and innovations virtually. Stefan Nobs will give you an overview about tribology, and afterwards he will show you some technical insights in centering and guiding solutions of Agathon. After that, Christoph Meyer will present you our latest solution, a system solution dedicated for the mold industry. Our live chats are open now for the next 90 minutes. Our experts will support you, give you further information and answer your questions. I hand over to my colleague Stefan now. Enjoy the show.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Now we are going to talk about the portfolio of the Agathon standardized guiding and centering systems. We may also have a look about the applications. The application range is guiding, centering and quick change. And now we see on the picture in the middle the first customer segment we have. It's stamping, die tooling. Of course, it's shown in vertical position. You see the pillar, middle flange pillar, stripper plate mounted. And on the right from it, you also see the quick changeable pillar, which is often in use in rotor stator die tooling applications. Also on the pillar, you see on the lower, we have regular ball cage on it mounted, and on the upper side, you have the roller cage for dynamic use. Then on the left, you will see the standardized products for the mold construction. In the front, you see a centering system, and in the rear, you see our customized solution often for the 24/7 main guide application. At the end of my time, you will see the new product who is going to replace then this more or less customized product. For mold, we also have a roller type, which is different to the one I did introduce first. It's a special roller guide who has a line contact. It's made for very stiff guiding and long-lasting, and therefore it's a very good way to guide and center the mold applications. On the right, you will see the third application range for customers we have. It's about also guiding elements for the machine industry. The machine industry often requires bottom-up made guide elements. Sometimes we can also rework them from the standard isodine or whatever, AFNOR standard. And also in the front you see a miniature guide element. Our program actually starts at 3 mm pillar size, and it goes up to 80 mm pillar size, which belongs to the AFNOR standard. This is so far what we have in our program, on our portfolio. It's a wide range we can offer you. Nevertheless, you will also see on the middle, on the right, a die set with plates, and this does close up our portfolio. The next part of my lecture time is about the tribology. Tribology means how do the surfaces work to each other. As you can see on the upper left, there is a preloaded guide. It contains of a pillar, rolling element and the bushing. So it's rolling all the way. On the right you see the sliding guide, which, as you may know very good from the mold making, this is very often in use in mold tools. There are huge differences the way they work. Rolling elements, they are long lasting because they roll up and they have the perfect preload and they need very little lubrication. Compared to this system, the sliding applications, that's a different and a more difficult story, I would say. On the applications, often we try to lubricate them, but since we have a linear move, the lubrication does not reach the region where the lubrication should be between the two parts. And because the system is not working very well, we do then start to coat the sliding areas with a perfect coating. Also in this way we still have a solid friction, and after a while the coating may disappear, as you can see on the picture. And this is then going to happen very quickly, so you have almost no chance to stop the application. So this can be a disadvantage. From the rolling elements, this is an advantage because on the rolling elements you can see the wear you have on a preloaded guide element, and you have plenty of time just in case to replace them. Now we go a step more ahead and this look at the tribology. You see on the upper left a guide block with the typical wear you see, because there is definitely solid friction. You see the wear at the end of the centering process, where even drops in to the mold tool, and this is even at clean room production an absolute no-go. Also have a look on this system about the lubrication. The lubrication is everywhere, but not on the sliding area. Therefore we have solid friction. This system, the guide block, is very much open, as you can see. Therefore the wear can drop out, and the good news is there's almost no cold welding, so the system does not block. When we go to the other system of the sliding pins, there we have cold welding because the wear cannot drop out, as you can see on this picture. Also in this case the lubrication is everywhere, but not at the spot where it should be. When we go on the lower right, then we see our system with the rolling elements. You see we have a cage holder system who keeps the cage at the perfect position. Once the bushing is going to center and enter the system, then it's going to be perfect aligned, and thanks to the preload it's clearance free, so it's most accurate. You also see the rolling element in the cage. In this case it's a brass cage. About the lubrication, our guide elements, thanks to the rolling system, there's not much lubrication needed. Even when you have too much lubrication on the cage, you can flush them away. It's only important that you have just a little bit lubrication in the pocket itself. This little lubrication will lubricate the roller and its counterfaces very good for the next week or 2 weeks. So you have a very long time where you just can start your production without any relubricating cycles. Now we are going to have a look at our centering portfolio. We actually started 10 years ago with the centering system. Before we only were talking about guiding. 10 years ago we started with the standard 7990 on the upper left. It's with aluminium cage. We at that time started with 3 sizes, with pillar size 15 up to 32 millimeter. Now in the meantime, in this year we also launched a large one which has a pillar size of 50 millimeter. With this range we can cover up a mold range from starting 125 millimeters up to over 1000 millimeter, even to this big mold tools. Then we go to the middle upper side. It's the 7993 standard. It's a kind of a premium centering system. Why is it premium? It's going to have, compared a much longer stroke, guided stroke, L5. This is longer, about 50% more than the other standards have. It also have a very much improved and finished designed system to hold the cage, so there's also no wear from the cage holding system, very important for the clean room production. And then we are going to have a brass cage for 2 reasons. One is it's possible to clean the centering system by ultrasonic bath. And the other one, and the other reason is that it's also capable to run them in high temperature applications. Furthermore, we were also able with a very special way to clean and to deburr this cage, even also looking at the clean run production. So we made everything on this standard to have and to reach the high targets of our customers so that they have a maximum benefit for it. Then on the upper right you see the 7995 standard. This is a so-called short stroke guiding system. It's actually not a centering system anymore. Of course you can center, but the main reason is to guide a short stroke, so you do not disengage the cage. We will further look at this application later on. Then on the lower left you will see the standard 7992. It's the smallest roller centering system we have in our program. The mounting diameter is 20 millimeter, so it fits in even to sizes of 100 millimeter. The typical applications are to single center each cavity or even for small mold tools. But since the market required even smaller centering systems, we then came to the latest design we made for centering system. It's the so-called mini fine centering system from Agathon. The standard is 7980, 1 or 9, so you have 3 options. O means you can order them without bushing, so then you have to machine and to manufacture the counter-rolling surface by yourself. You can buy the whole unit. It means pillar, cage and bushing. And even for the automatization guys, we also have additionally the bushings left, so you can add your application with additional bushings. So this is the very much grown portfolio for centering systems we now today have in our program. Let us look deeper at these applications we can cover up with these different standards on the next slide. Now we look deeper at the centering applications, also about the new features we made in the recent past. As I already mentioned, we made a difference. We started the segmentation. We divide the applications from static application to dynamic application. Let us also then talk about the self-made counter-rolling surface. And now we start on the upper left with the application the customers are going to use today. It's a simple pin. I guess everybody may know that. The disadvantage is the stick slip effect you have once you want to take out the plate. It's very tough to bring them up because of the stick slip. This effect you won't have with the rolling elements because they just roll out very easy. The tool makers will love it, I can promise you. So this is also so-called static application. Since static applications usually only have a cycle number of several hundreds, the demands on the self-made counter-rolling surface is lower. And you can see on below of this picture, you will see the tolerance you can get in case you want to make this counter-rolling surface by yourself. It's about 6 micron. And today, via EDM, they can easily make them. You also get from our brochure the surface quality. We also made this recommendation as easy as possible. It's RA 0.2. So this is for the static application. We started this 2 years ago. Also important is on static application that you at least reach a Rockwell hardness of 52. Then we go to the more demanding applications, to the dynamic applications. Dynamic, we understand it's a mold tool who is endless going to open and close the tool, and each time the centering system has to center the cavity or the whole mold tool. This is what we call dynamic. You can see it on the upper right on this picture. This is a floating cavity. If you have a very close look at it, you will also see the coolant bore. So on this occasion, I can show you also this very high advantage you get with the mini fine centering, because you have a very high design freedom. You can place them wherever you like to. It's also up to you how many you're going to use. To center 2 plates, it requires at least 2 centering systems. So then you can decide whether you use 2 bigger ones or 3 smaller ones. So as you can see, you got a lot of design freedom for this. Of course, since it is dynamic, we had to narrow the tolerance. So the tolerance, of course, is smaller than for the static application. Also, we require more hardness. We recommend 56 Rockwell. So these are the recommendations. Also on the surface quality, we did also increase that a little bit to RA 0.15. But everything is today possible to jig grind or even to wire EDM. Now we look a bit deeper at applications where we have very tight spaces to place any centering system. I prepared 2 customer applications. In the middle, you see the application. It's red marked. On this red marked area, you should place a centering system. So this is almost not possible to make, as you can see. Because on the left, you see the guide block, the smallest available standard-sized guide block, and this one is definitely too large. And even when you imagine on guide blocks, you always have to use minimum 4. There's absolutely no space at all left for a guide block centering system. So that's why a centering system from Agathon has become important, even to use this feature without the bushing by a self-made counter-rolling surface. You then see on this application that there are also coolant bores, and of course the coolant bores, they have more priority because to get the most perfect plastic part. So then there's definitely not much space left. But thanks to this new feature that the customer does not have to use a bushing, he could place our centering system in. He had only to use 2, and then he was happy to run this application clearance-free. One more custom application we have on the right. This is a so-called short stroke application. In this case, the counter bore is never leaving the preload, so it does not disengage. In this customer application, we were very happy about the fact that the customer, anyway, they plan to use a hardness of 60 Rockwell for this plate, so that's perfect, because we recommend a minimum hardness for dynamic use of 56 Rockwell. So mostly in mold making, they have a Rockwell hardness of only 54. So in this case, we were lucky. It did work very well. And in this case, the customer was changing from his own customized system. He used to use a pillar. Then he spent a lot of time to fit them perfect into this plate that he has almost no clearance. And after a while, of course, as you can see from the tribology system, he had wear. So from time to time, he had to make his own customized pillar again, but with a larger diameter. Then he was rehoning the plate and it fit them again together. So he had also too little lifetime on this system. He had to customize them. Then he changed over to our system, and within a short time, he had already the payback for this small amount of investment, and he is happy to guide them the whole life cycle of his mold tool. Now we look at the short stroke application, a little bit deeper at it, because it's unique. Short stroke, It's actually, as already mentioned, it's just a guiding application. It does not center, since the bushing is not disengaging from the pillar and cage. On the lower left, you see the definition of short stroke. So the stroke shall be smaller than L5. L5 from the brochure, that's the guided centering length. So it means L5 minus 1.5. Then for sure it remains preloaded all the time. So this is what we understand under short stroke. On this example, you see also very good some more advantages you are going to have, even when you are looking at microns, at very accurate guided systems. You will see that you can make with this mini fine centering system, that you can make the stripper plate and also the die plate, you can machine the mounting hole for the centering system together with the die plate contour, or actually also the punch contour at once. So this is most accurate, since again you can make them at once. Now we are going to have a look at the easy calculation for the designer. 10 years ago, when we started with the centering system, we decided to make it this way, as I now going to explain it. The easy calculation is based on the weight of the mold tool. Then we just make it more easy. We just divide the mold tool by 2. So this gives you the weight, how much you have to lift off the mold tool to center them perfect. And then we gonna compare this weight with our C value, who tells you the load capacity, which is the centering system, capable to center. And then you will find by this easy calculation way how many centering systems you have to use. Of course, you can use larger one or smaller one, and then you get the number out of this calculation. Regarding the mini fine centering system, we did develop this calculation system a little bit further. We now have a safety factor. We make a difference. If you have a long run application, then we recommend to use a safety factor of 1.75. So then you see on this example, then we recommend not to use 2, but then better to use 3 centering system. So this is all about how to calculate and how to select our centering systems. So still we have some applications left I didn't talk about, didn't show you. The first I would like to introduce you is the rotary deforming. You can see here. Even for closures, this is the solution. Since closures, they are made in huge numbers, so they need a very good guiding or rotating system. It's better than sliding. It's better than to use the rolling these elements. For this case, for this kind of application, we are often using then a customized made ball cage. You can see that in details. Again, you see how the balls are being separated by the cage material itself. It's long lasting, thanks to the fact that it's rolling. And of course, the preload is also most important in this case. Usually also at this application, you have very tight spaces, so it means you have to use very small balls, as small as possible of the diameter of the balls. But the smaller the ball, the more accurate you have to preload them. So this is the knowledge about preloading. Even on this fact, Agathon can of course do more than just making the cage. We can also make the counterparts, which means D1 and D2, according to our catalog. Then I would like to show you the centering system, also in a few words. It's very easy functional. It is actually short stroke. And as you can see, thanks to the fact that the rollers are being preloaded, you cannot rotate them. Then let's have a look at the quick change. Very easy, as I already promised. It's not like a pin. It's just rolling in, rolling off, very easy. Very easy to mount. No special knowledge is needed to understand that. The same counts for floating cavities. Can make them millions of numbers. Can complete a lot of cycles with this rolling system. And then on the upper right, we have the main guide, the way we did it until today. It's this system here. This system is of course also preloaded, clearance free. Therefore you don't need any centering system. Any additional centering system is not required. It's working like this. It has even a larger way of centered conditions. And this also gives you a lot more benefit. The main guide in this execution is even made for a long-run application. We then easily talk about up to 10 million cycles you can make with such a guiding system. So now we have almost come to the end of my lecture time with you. It was a great pleasure to introduce you all this kind of application and to forward you our knowledge we have. The one who now have a very close look at our portfolio will see then that on the left of the middle that we have now shown a new product which is also standardized. This is a standardized main guide and it's absolute new. It's a top novelty we can show you, and this is about my colleague who will later on show you that. I thank you for your attention and will return to Stefan. Thank you.
Many thanks to Stefan for the interesting overview about centering and guiding solution at Agathon as well as on tribology. Customers are using our technologies for more than 10 years now, and we got a lot of experience in this area. In the last year, precision for molding is more and more an issue. In lots of applications, conventional block centering units are no more sufficient. With the feedbacks of our customers, we were able to create a new innovative solution that combines guiding and centering in one element. For that, I hand over to my colleague Christoph. He will explain you the details.
Thanks, Stefan, for the introduction. A new standard in the molding industry has been born. Our customers' daily challenges and demands has been the inspiration for our new product. The patent is pending, but we will show you now what bunch of advantages you will get with our new Guiding System Plus. For the development, the flexibility was our main focus, and how we define flexibility you will learn in the next few minutes. In order to introduce our new concept, we would like to focus first on the conventional guiding and centering concept of existing tools. The main guiding system of an existing tool usually consists of a sliding guide of the main guide, and which is moving and pre-centering the main parting line. Beside of this, you have here in the outer line installed the flat centering devices and sometimes the round fine centering systems from Agathon. Our new concept consists of combining both formerly mentioned tasks. That means we are combining both main moving parts and the centering tasks in one system. That means the fine centering systems can be omitted and you are gaining a lot of space for additional form inserts. That means increasing the productivity can be reached with very few effort. The Guiding System Plus consists of two, respectively 3 parts. First of all, we have here the rolling bush system with brass cage. The second, we have here the guiding system pillar, and on both inserted already, we have here the retaining ring, which helps to position the parts. The brass cage resists the demands in ultrasonic bath cleaning. Additionally, it resists temperatures of up to 170 degrees centigrade. That means it's a possible solution for high temperature applications. The rollers, profile rollers, are preloaded. That means they are free of any backlash. They are very precise and extremely rigid. That means it's a perfect solution for very precise parts. Further, roller means rolling, and rolling is better than sliding. That means we have much less wear, which helps you to increase your tool's life expectancy. Stroke speeds can reach up to 40 meters per minute. That means it's a plus of 30% compared to sliding guides, which helps you to further increase your productivity of the tool. Speed and long life expectancy means it's an absolute reliable solution for 24/7 production, workhorses, mass production, and so on. The long centering stroke we are offering you here helps you to center the mold plates from the very first positioning to the shut position without any backlash, and helps you to protect all the surrounding parts such as coarse, touch-up areas and more. Finally, on the long guiding pillar, you can guide as well the stripper plates if demanded so you get a 3-in-1 solution on one system. You have main parting plate guiding, you have the centering of the mold halves, and the stripper plate guiding. This retaining ring helps you to gain a lot of flexibility. It's an extent of supply for both pillars and bushes. What is the advantage of it? The advantage is the recesses are adapted to the different standardized plate thicknesses. In case of change or in case of use, the retaining ring can be adapted with no tools in a very few seconds to the corresponding plate thickness, and therefore you don't have to order new parts. I will show you how fast it works. You see, it's done in a very few seconds without any tools. In case of maintenance, you can use only one article number for many different tools, many different plate thicknesses. That helps you to save a lot of space on your stock, and you can use this stock for other more important things. The reordering process is also much easier. You don't have to type in many different article numbers. You can focus on one article number in bigger quantities. The risk minimization has to be mentioned as well. In case of an emergency, if you are running out of stock of these article numbers, you can use the guiding bushes from existing tools, deassemble them, install it into your new tools, which you have to bring back to work, and save therefore a lot of valuable time. During the designs and construction time, your engineers will love that. That means in case of that they have to change the plate thickness, they don't have to look for another guiding bush which will fit the plate thickness, but they can focus completely on the more demanding task. That means they only can move the retaining ring from one recess to the other, and then mission accomplished. Flexibility is written in capital letters. You have learned already that the flexibility has been reached with easy stocking, with easy adapting to the plate thicknesses and very easy engineering. More flexibility you are gaining with the fact that in this guiding system you have no need of pairing. Even we are using profile rollers, which normally used to be paired, in this guiding systems with this rolling bush there is no need for pairing. That means you can use and order the rolling bush systems and the pillars individually, and you don't have to make sure that the guiding elements are always remaining together. But it's not done yet. More flexibility you are getting with the possibility that you can change the guiding pillars according to your needs. That means, depending on your needs, you have the choice of all our product portfolio, and you can choose between flange pillars, middle flange pillars, or even straight pillars. Therefore, you can design the tool exactly according to your needs, and you are not being limited by the design from Agathon. Last but not least, the mounting diameter meets the dimensional standards from molding industry, and therefore upgrading existing tools can be done in most cases without any rework during the maintenance. That means all the tools can be upgraded with basically no additional cost from the technical side. I would say mission accomplished. So you learned how our new Guiding System Plus can help you to solve your daily challenges and requirements. So let's resume. It's well known. That means in the design phase, the engineers don't have to change completely their behavior of engineering, so what they are doing right, so they can keep it. It's compatible to the assembling diameters, so it's possible that you can upgrade existing tools, and it's flexible in regards of plate thicknesses and the choice of the needed pillar. Zero backlash means you have preloaded profile rollers which are offering you very high precision and rigidity and stiffness, and therefore, as rolling instead of sliding, you have a very long life expectancy due to reduced wear. The centering stroke, the long centering stroke, helps you to prevent the wear from cores, from touch-up areas and more parts which are being involved. And last but not least, it's very cost efficient. As we have much less wear, barely anywhere, as we have very few production interruption, you can save a lot of production time and therefore increase your productivity again. What are possible applications? On this slide here, we see that we have the stripper plate guided on a middle flange pillar. In the front and in the back, we have installed such rolling bush systems, and this solution can be used for long strokes in a preloaded manner. On this application, we are also guiding the stripper plates, but this is for short strokes only. That means if we have extremely long strokes, then we can use a sliding bush. But for the last positioning of the stripper plates, we could install Agathon Fine Centering System Plus to make sure that the last positioning of the stripper plate is perfectly done. What are further possible applications? Well, it can be short strokes such as aeration strokes or ejection. It can be used on multi-stack molds for cube molds, rotating molds. Then it can be used also on handling and robotics for positioning the robot head to make sure the positioning of the head is perfect. The molding can be done very easy. And last but not least, inclined sliders can be guided on a single basis, or the complete ejection system can be guided at once. So, reward yourself with the new Agathon Guiding System Plus and grant yourself more planning security, higher production output, and lower total cost of production. And with this resume, thanks a lot for your attention, and I would like to hand over to Michael.
Christoph, thank you very much for the interesting presentation of the Agathon Guiding System Plus, a really outstanding innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming now to the end of the first Agathon virtual guiding show, and we hope that we could inspire you how you can further optimize your products with the help of Agathon standard parts. Also, after the guiding show, you can continue chatting live with our experts. Use this opportunity, ask your questions, and seek an active exchange with us. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much for your interest. I hope to see you soon. Stay healthy and goodbye.